Get curious, not furious. It's a mantra I've been living by for the last few years and something I speak about in pretty much all of my workshops. In this week's episode of Ask Leah, I want to share with you a real example of when I practiced this in my own life and the incredible outcome that I achieved as a result. You might remember, if you're a regular watcher of Ask Leah, a couple of weeks ago I went on a bit of a rant, and my rant was about adults behaving like children in the workplace and the increase in really poor behavior that I'm seeing across industries. People saying they're not going to work with someone because they don't like them, or having tantrums, just generally behaving poorly. And while I received an overwhelmingly positive response to that, with people thanking me for calling out what they're seeing too, I did receive one response that was quite explosive. In fact, this person used words like toxic and blaming in their, frankly, attack on what I had shared in my weekly newsletter. Now, when I first received that, I'll admit, I had a very human response. I was taken aback. I felt defensive straight away. I thought, bloody hell, what is all of this about? And I sat with it and let that emotion hit, because emotions happen whether we like it or not. It's what we do with it that matters. I let that emotion wash over me and I looked at it and I went, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on there. And this person actually unsubscribed from my list and left this as a parting note for me. So I was quite taken aback. And I sat on it and I thought, do I do anything with this or not? And I could have easily let it go. And part of me nearly did that. But my curiosity won out. And I sent this person an email, a very polite email, just saying, thank you for your feedback when you unsubscribed this morning. I'm really sorry you feel that way. If you're up for a conversation, I'm genuinely curious about that response and I'd love to know more. I'd also totally appreciate if you don't want to have that conversation, but if you do, I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I genuinely wanted to hear this person's perspective. Now, what happened, because I responded with nothing but grace and curiosity, and I was not wedded, I did not expect a response, but I just thought, I'm going to put that out there. Well, folks, what ensued was the most beautiful, positive, back and forward email that morning, with someone who had just reacted themselves without fully reading the content, without watching the video, had reacted because of some pressures that they were under in their own workplace. And this person, to their credit, wrote me an email back and apologized and said, I'm really sorry. I have, responded poorly here. I have taken out frustrations on you where it has not been directed. I didn't even fully read the piece. They'd gone back now. And they shared with me, though, that part of their frustration at the moment is, yes, people are behaving poorly, but what they're also seeing is some leaders behaving poorly themselves, but blaming their people and saying, people are behaving like children, but not looking at their own behavior. Now, I read this person's response and went, I totally agree with you. That's why in all of my work with leaders, I always say, let's start with you. Even when they say my people are the problem, I respond with, yeah, and we'll get to that. But let's start with you. We always need to self-reflect on our own behavior first. So again, back and forward with this person who ended up saying, I can see why my wife loved the training she did with you. This person hadn't actually done training with me before. I can see why my wife loved this training with you. You've managed to get me thinking and reflecting on my own leadership, and I'm really pleased that we've had this interaction as well. So this whole beautiful conversation came about because I got curious, not furious. It would have been so easy for me to get furious and just to go, oh, this is a load of crap. Can't believe this person has done this, and it could have ruined my day, and it probably would have ruined that other person's day too, because they've fired off this heat of the moment response at me this morning without it really being about me. And they probably would have stewed on that, and it's thrown their whole day off kilter too. But instead, by giving them curiosity and genuine curiosity, I created space. I created space for self reflection, for acknowledgement, for emotional regulation. So it wasn't just pat on the back, Leah, for getting curious. Absolute hats off, pat on the back, and kudos for this person who, yes, did react really poorly in the first instance, but then was able to reflect, apologize, and engage in a really awesome dialogue with me. So, folks, if you need further proof that Get Curious, Not Furious works, I hope that story helps, and I encourage you to try putting it into practice too. Don't make assumptions that you know what's going on. Don't jump the gun and attack. Get curious, not furious, and see where it takes you. Cheers.